Good morning, Sunday morning here, November the 21st, not 19, 2021. Let me get on schedule here. Continuing throughout the end of this year, a morning little expose, if you will, following in the lines of Ephesians 5:11, take no part in their worthless deeds of evil and darkness, instead expose them in what I present here on this daily live stream. Two things. This is not designed in a way to take away your belief in God. This is not designed to turn you against being and believing in the Bible. That is your choice, 100% your choice. But it is designed to wake you up and expose you to the institution of Christendom, the institution of church in Christendom. And once you know what's being presented, then you can make your choices intelligently, hopefully from the heart, and hopefully you too will stop associating with what you're learning here, because this is a epidemic. This is not a occasional thing that comes out of the Christian church. This is a constant. I've been following this for years and years and years, and in recent years I decided that I needed to speak up loudly about this, and as time goes by I speak up louder and louder about this. And I will also list below a right here, let's do this real quick, website. So you can see what's going on in recent years, not just, and it goes even further than this, but no, wrong one. What? There we go. I don't need, what in the world? I need to get rid of that. There we go. Okay, got it. That has got an RSS feed, and it's also got a listing of cases going back years and years and years, and you will see it's constant. It does not let up, and I'm going to continue with this presentation this morning. I've been spending about 30 minutes or so, roughly. I'm not timing it to the second or a minute, but it's been about 30 minutes of cases just coming out of 2021 so far, and we'll see where that takes us throughout the next little bit. And I'm just highlighting. I'm not spending a lot of time on each case unless it's, it's worthy of focusing in on a little bit more. I'm just highlighting the cases because there's so many of them. If you choose to still support such an institution, if you remember, if you are claimed to be a Bible-based Christian, Jesus said you would know them by their fruits. That's why I quote the scripture about Ephesians 5:11. They're fruitless deeds of darkness. They're worthless deeds of evil, because it is what it is. It is really, really troubling. From one day ago, and these just came up since yesterday when I did yesterday's presentation, live stream, Rockford Register, the North Love Church, allegations of sexual abuse continue to mount at North Love Church. Here's what we know. They've got their Baptist church, North Love Baptist Church and School, Sunday worship, Sunday evening worship, Wednesday evening worship, Rockford, North Love Baptist Church has been rocked by allegations of sexual abuse this year with the filings of civil suits from 3 different women. After the first filing was made public in August, the Reverend Paul Kingsbury, the longtime senior pastor of the church, resigned. It's pretty telling. Most recently, church deacons announced plans to cut ties with a missionary in Bolivia that the church supports because he's being investigated for sex crimes in South Carolina. Well, it spreads pretty good, doesn't it? 3 women, each in their early to mid-30s, and all living out of the state, have come forward with allegations of sexual abuse that occurred when they were teenagers attending the church and North Love Christian School, both located at 5301 East Riverside Boulevard. Each has filed a civil suit in Winnebago County Court. The first suit was filed May 5th. The other 2 were filed October 18th and October 21. John Neese, a Loves Park resident who served in various capacities at the church and worked with youth, is accused by the first woman of inappropriate touching, fondling, masturbation, groping, and other sexual acts. North Love Baptist Church in Independence Village of Rockford, a local retirement home where Neese was employed during the time of the alleged crimes, are accused of negligence. Neese reportedly held a management position at the retirement facility and hired the first victim to serve as a waitress and food service crew member. The suit also said the church and the retirement home were aware, or reasonably should have been aware, that Neese was having inappropriate interactions with minors at the church, the retirement facility, as well as at his residence. John Pearson, an adult and former church member, had a supervisory role in the youth ministry, North Love Christian School, and Reformers Unanimous, a faith-based addiction recovery program affiliated with the church. 2 women filed suit in October accusing Pearson of inappropriate touching, fondling, masturbation, groping, and other sexual acts. The church, school, and Reformers Unanimous are also listed as defendants. Pearson is pastor, he's still pastoring, of Summit Life Church in Pittsboro, Indiana. In March of 2018, North Love employee Charles Tucker of Matchesney Park was found guilty of 4 counts of predatory criminal sexual assault of a child under 13 years of age and 9 counts of aggravated criminal sexual assault. Those charges stemmed from a 2013 investigation by the Winnebago County Sheriff's Department, same church, going back years now. North Love Baptist Church deacons announced on November 14th they were recalling Richard Duvall, a member serving as a missionary in Bolivia. Duvall is accused of sexually assaulting a woman in 1983 in Greensville, South Carolina, where Duvall was a ministerial student at Bob Jones University. How has the church responded? North Love Baptist Church, the deacon board unanimously accepted Pastor Kingsbury's resignation. The Reverend Ron Hayes was named to serve as interim pastor. Donnie Barnes, North Love's youth pastor since 2019, continues to oversee all youth and children's ministries and also is the athletic director for North Love Christian Church. This church is just celebrated its 55th anniversary this year. In 2016, the church had about 900 members with plans to grow to 1,200 over the next decade. Current membership's unavailable. And there you have it. It just never ends. This is just a new article from the Rockford Register Star from one day ago. Unbelievable, people. Unbelievable. It just doesn't end. It just doesn't end. A movie. I've seen the trailer for show on Netflix, and it's talked about at the religious news service, religiousnews.com, religionnews.com. Netflix's Procession. Clergy abuse victims process trauma by making short films. The film follows 6 men as they make short films to help them process their individual traumas of being sexually abused by Catholic priests. Unbelievable. This is an epidemic that's not as commonly referred to, not just a Catholic issue. Issue all the way through Christendom. And most of the cases that I share here are from Protestant churches, like the one I just shared at that North Love, which is a Baptist church. I've had a little here with my internet. There we go. Got it. Okay, good deal. All right. It never ends. Former Grace Family Baptist Church pastor convicted of child molester. Youth pastor at Southside Church, Jacksonville, Florida, accused of grooming and molesting child for years. Youth pastor accused. These are from all over the country. Abusing children may have more victims. Former Kalamazoo pastor's wife charged in sex crimes case. Second Baptist Church of Kalamazoo. Illinois pastor, Christian Post, July 19th. Illinois pastor accused of sexually violating church member, but still remains in the pulpit. Jamaica, which is not too far removed from us, another pastor charged with rape. Child Abuse Act, 52-year-old. Unbelievable. It doesn't end. It doesn't end. SBC from the Christian Post. SBC megachurch shocked ex-pastor arrested, accused of grooming and molesting 12-year-old girl. Unbelievable. Chet's Creek Church, a multi-campus Southern Baptist megachurch in Florida, was shocked and devastated to learn that former Southside campus pastor Jeff Bedwell was recently arrested for allegedly grooming and sexually molesting a young girl from the age of 12 until she turned 17. 5 years of torment against this little girl by a praying pastor, Preying. Chet's Creek was shocked and devastated to learn of the charges made against a former member of its staff. Senior pastor Spike Hogan said in a statement to the Christian Post Tuesday, Jeff Bedwell's employment with the church was terminated more than 2 years ago for issues unrelated to the current charges now made against him. Hogan assured that during his time at the church, the 38-year-old Bedwell was subjected to the same thorough vetting and background check process that we require of all leaders. If they're not caught, they'll pass the background check, folks. And these guys are slick about going through a vetting process. Until they're caught, they are going to pass the background check. And these guys are in the Christian church in abundance. Wake up. If you just follow this stuff. If you just follow this stuff, you'll see what kind of epidemic comes out of this Christian church, Christianity, Christendom. And there was no hint of criminal activity because these guys are slick. These kids will not talk. The majority of them will not talk. They're scared, they're intimidated, they're shamed, and they will not talk. Wake up. Had we learned of it or had any reason to believe there was wrongdoing, we would have reported it to law enforcement immediately. With this recent arrest, we will cooperate with law enforcement any way we can. Well, God didn't step in. It didn't bother anybody that God was watching, did it? All the thoughts and prayers and the praying that Jeff Bedwell did, nope, no good. Jacksonville Sheriff's Office is the one that busted this case. One brave little child coming forth, abused since 12, shamed, I'm sure. Church has no plans to comment further at this time and did not elaborate on Bedwell's former role. But the church insists that leaders are working to make their church safer. It's all about the church. It's all about the church. All about the church. Safety of our members and families remains a top priority. Well, you certainly missed something there. And then what do they come down to? Right now, our primary focus is to pray for every person. That praying didn't do a damn thing for all that 5 years of that little girl. Who else is being abused right now in the Christian church? Who have been harmed, and support them any way they need. Please pray with us. That praying hadn't done that. That's what a church does, is pray all the time. Pray all the time. 5 years. 5 years. Started when this girl was 12 years old. And again, it started with text messages and Snapchat. He started grooming her through text messages, photos, and sexual conversations during which he allegedly requested inappropriate photos. By the time she was 14, the exchanges allegedly escalated to include videos. The pastor is accused of having 2 alleged sexual encounters with a girl when she was 14. Bedwell allegedly continued sexually assaulting the victim at his home and inside his vehicle until she turned 17, according to the arrest report. There you go, folks. Praying, praying without ceasing. We're praying, praying without ceasing. That's something. I don't know when people are going to wake up. I just don't know when people are going to wake up. They don't want to wake up. Just don't want to wake up. It's really sad. And people still support this. But if it were any other religious institution, if it were the Church of Satan that had one case come out of it, or if it was a Muslim, Christians would be all over it. Coming out of Christianity in these numbers constantly, shh, we still support the church. Let's just pray. Let's just pray. Cleveland19.com, North Ridgeville youth pastor, wife indicted on additional sexual battery charges August 10th this year, Cleveland, Ohio. The Cuyahoga County grand jury indicted a North Ridgeville youth pastor and his wife on additional criminal charges involving sex with a minor. Here's a couple. Wonderful church people. Anna Walker faces an additional 2 counts of sexual battery, and David Walker faces 14 additional counts of sexual battery, 7 additional counts of unlawful sexual conduct with a minor, and 1 count of sexual imposition. According to court records, the crime happened October 4, 2019, and David Walker was a youth pastor at Church Alive International in Cleveland and the Dwelling Place Family Worship Center in North Olmsted. North Olmsted and North Ridgeville police said David and Anna Walker were first indicted by the Cuyahoga County grand jury in January of this year, 2021. According to officers, the Walkers assaulted a 14-year-old female between May 2005 and May 2007. The victim was a parishioner and a member of both youth group churches. A couple, unbelievable. It doesn't end. A husband-wife team serving the church, youth pastors, sex as a couple with a 14-year-old. They're praying without ceasing. They're praying, and you're still supporting this institution. Makes no sense to a reasonable, truth-loving, loving people. Makes no sense that you continue to support this kind of behavior at all. Fox 5 out of Atlanta, Georgia. Metters, Georgia. A former Southeast Georgia youth pastor faces multiple charges of sexual exploitation of a minor. This is published November 16, 2021. Stephen McCallan Thomas, 22 of Garfield, was charged with 2 counts each of sexual exploitation and sexual battery. Thomas surrendered himself to the Candler County Jail on Monday evening. Georgia Bureau of Investigation said it happened while Thomas was a pastor at Restoration Worship Center in Metter. The investigators said the victims, plural, were children under the age of 15 at the time of the incident. Let's say this again. Investigators said the victims, not just one, were children, all under the age of 15 when this took place. And because of concerns about more possibly victims of this wonderful Christian praying pastor, they say anyone with information about the case is asked to call the GBI Regional Investigation Office at Statesboro, 912-871 or 1121, or if you prefer, anonymously at 800-597-TIPS, 8477. What do you think about this as you go off to your churches this morning to see what you're supporting? This is an epidemic. This is not something that just occasionally happens. This has been going on for decades and decades and decades, and it's not ceasing. And what I'm sharing with you is just the ones that got caught. Keep in mind, these young innocent victims are not apt to come forth because they're shamed, they're intimidated, they're kids. They're not going to run to their parents and talk about such things. Most don't. Here's a lovely one here. Sweetwater pastor from Arkansas, Jerry Lee Anderson, Knoxville, Tennessee, a pastor ministering. This is published in September 16th of 2021. Knoxville, Tennessee, a pastor ministering at Sweetwater, right off of the Interstate 75, going up toward Knoxville. He's been arrested and charged with failing to register as a sex offender from another state. So he's just kind of sliding in here. Jerry Lee Anderson, 46, was arrested Tuesday by the Monroe County Sheriff's Office and U.S. Marshals Smoky Mountains Fugitive Task Force, according to John Sanchez of the Marshals Service. Anderson had previously been convicted in Arkansas of sexual assault in the second degree. According to the Kentucky State Sex Offender Registry, Anderson is required to register as a sex offender due to the Arkansas conviction. Authorities arrested Anderson about 4 p.m. Tuesday after finding him sleeping in the Eagles Rest Church. Sleeping is a sexual, he's already been convicted. Sleeping in the Eagles Rest Church in Sweetwater. According to a release from the Marshal Service on Wednesday, a Monroe County Sheriff's Office investigation found that Anderson had been the headline minister at the Prophetic Crusade Christian Revival held at the Eagles Rest Church in Sweetwater from September 1st to the 13th. He was living at or near the church. Sexual offender. They're praying and praying and praying. Unreal. Unbelievable. It just goes on and on and on and on and on. And this quick, I'm already almost into my 30-minute run that I'm doing this morning. I do have a wedding today. So let's go this one out of Florida, June 9th, 2021. It just page after page after page. And I'm just doing an internet search from news sources. And this is from the News Channel 8 on your side, Tampa, Florida, Lakeland youth pastor accused of trying to have sex with minor. Lakeland, Florida youth pastor in Lakeland is facing multiple charges after allegedly attempting to have sex with a member of his youth group, according to the Polk County Sheriff's Office. Sheriff Grady Judd said the pastor, 29-year-old Andrew Weaver, worked for the Highlands Church of Christ. Wasn't Catholic. None of these are Catholic today. Church notified authorities of the situation when they learned of the misbehavior. Weaver was informally counseling the girl when he asked for nude pictures from the girl and spoke about sexual fantasies with her. He got real comfortable. Let's pray. It's called church-supported sex education hands-on style. Instead of being the appropriate counselor in the room, he creates a relationship with a 17-year-old child. Did I tell you he was 29 and married and a youth pastor? Hey, listen up, folks. This is your Christendom church. And I'm not trying to discourage you or turn you away from your God. I'm trying to turn you away from the church where this stuff just radiates from in an epidemic. Did I tell you he was 29, married, and a youth pastor? Judge said he eventually took the minor to a hotel in Mulberry, but a maid knocked on the door, stopping the encounter before it turned into a case of sexual battery. The pastor then took the teenager back to the church. The maid was an angel that day because it freaked him out, and the rest of that inappropriate counseling session did not take place. Andrew, Jesus don't like that, Judge said, addressing the defendant. I'd go so far to say he's pissed. Well, guess what? I'm a human being. I'm pissed. And I'm sharing this stuff because it does not end. It's not just Andrew. It's not just the Highlands Church of Christ. As you see, as I share this stuff over and over and over and over and over, it doesn't end. That pastor now faces charges for attempted unlawful sex with a minor and interference with child custody. Ladies and gentlemen, you can't make this up. This is real. www.boycottchurches.org. If you care, if there's any decency in your heart, you'll pay attention to what's going on. And if there's any decency in your heart, you'll stop supporting clearly an institution. This stuff it's an epidemic. It's radiating out of here. Nonstop. Ephesians 5:11 have nothing to do, have no part, take no part of the worthless deeds of evil and darkness. Instead, expose them. You're not only refusing to expose them, you're not only refusing to see the crap that comes out of here, you're turning a blind eye to it, and you're still supporting. Your Jesus said you would know them by the fruits they bear. This, my friends, is just part of the fruits I'm talking about. All the good in the world does not cover up the evil deeds coming forth here. You can make all the excuses you want, but if it happened to your child, you'd change your tune. I'm sure of that. It's happening. It does not end. You can go back. Go to www.boycottchurches.org. Go to the news section. It goes back year after year after year after year after year, month after month after month, week after week after week. It's there. And that, my friends, is just the ones that get caught. That is just a minor number of what takes place because these young, innocent, immature children are shamed, scared to speak out, intimidated. Most of them never speak up. And a lot of the ones that do don't speak up till years later, given an opportunity for these praying pastors, Preying, to attack more and more and more and more of your kids, your children, your grandchildren, your nieces, your nephews from Christendom. That book you call the Good Book also said, God does not dwell in temples made by the hand of man. You're not going to find God in there. The fruits bear that out. You're not going to find God in there. The fruits bear that out. It's time to wake up, people. It's time to wake up. Bottom line. It's on you. It is on you.